Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael Ignatieff, Rector and President of Central European University. On my right, Zsolt Enyedi, the Pro-Rector for Hungarian Affairs. On my immediate left, Eva Fodor, Rector for Social Science. And on my far left, Liviu Matei, who is the Provost of this university. First, a statement which I'll read, and then a bit of a translation in Hungarian from my colleague and friend Zsolt, and then we'd be happy to take your questions, and we're delighted you're all here. In April 2017, the Hungarian government passed Lex CEU. It required CEU to secure an international agreement to operate in Hungary. It also required us to conduct educational activity in the state of New York, where we're accredited. We fulfilled both of those conditions. There is a draft agreement, and I think it's been circulated so that you know that this is not some fiction. It really did exist, does exist. And secondly, we did establish educational activity in the United States through Bard College. This fall, there are CEU students working and studying in New York in compliance with that agreement. And the Hungarian government came to Bard College to inspect to make sure that we were carrying out our commitments. They were there. They saw it with their own eyes. And they agreed, at least verbally, that we'd complied with their requirements. And our U.S. accreditors said we had met all the requirements of Lex CEU. Now, a couple of weeks ago, the Hungarian government informed the United States ambassador that they will neither sign nor ratify the agreement that they themselves required of us and that they themselves negotiated. And they do not recognize the activity that we are conducting in New York to ensure compliance with Lex CEU. So that's where we are, folks. This means we cannot operate legally in Hungary as a free U.S. accredited institution. We're being forced out of a country that's been our home for 26 years. And accordingly, from the 1st of September 2019, CEU will offer all of its U.S. accredited degree programs in Vienna. We've received a very warm welcome from the city of Vienna and from the Austrian federal government, for which we're extremely grateful. But here's an important point I want you all to observe. This decision of ours comes into effect on December 1. Even at this late hour, we are still seeking a solution that allows us to remain in Budapest as a free institution. The CEU decision will take effect on December 1st to give the United States ambassador, David Kornstein, one last chance to get the parties together to find a solution that will enable us to stay here in Budapest as a U.S. accredited free institution. If no solution is found by December 1, we'll move our degree programs to Vienna. But here's the other thing I want you to understand, I want to emphasize strongly as I can. We will continue to operate in Budapest. We will continue CEU as a research and teaching site in Budapest. We will continue to provide the public education forum that we have provided in this city for so long. This is our home. If the government thinks they can get rid of CEU, they've got another thing coming. We want to stay here. Our problem is we can't legally operate U.S. degree programs here. And we're still at this last moment trying to find a solution that will allow us to stay. Let me finally thank David Kornstein, Ambassador Kornstein, for unfailing efforts to find a solution, which are continuing even as we speak. Let me thank the governor of the state of New York for getting his legal team so involved in negotiating this draft agreement. Let me thank the U.S. Congress for saying keep CEU in Budapest. Let me thank European leaders of all political persuasions for saying that academic freedom is indivisible in Europe and needs to be defended. Let me most of all thank the support we've received from over 500 academic institutions around the world. That's been a tremendous shot in the arm. But most of all, and particularly with Hungarian media present, let me thank Hungarian citizens from all walks of life, Hungarian scientists, Hungarian academics who stood with us, expressed their support, because they know that we've made a contribution to the life, the academic life of Budapest, and want to continue to do so. Let me conclude with that and ask Zsolt to paraphrase what I said in Hungarian, and then we'll take some questions. Thank you very much.
Engedjék meg, hogy én is köszöntsem Önöket. A 2017-es felsőoktatási törvény módosítása két feladatot rótt az egyetemünkre. Az első feladat egy nemzetközi egyezmény összehozása volt New York és a magyar kormány között. Ez sikerült, nemrég köröztettük is Önök között azt a megállapodás tervezetet, amelyet a New Yorki kormányzó és a magyar kormány küldöttei már tavaly létrehoztak. A második feladat az volt, hogy beindítsuk a felsőoktatási képzéseinket az Egyesült Államokban. Ez is sikerült. Több pecsétes igazolásunk van arról, hogy az amerikai oktatási hatóságok elfogadták az ottani programjainkat, úgy tartanak minket számon, mint egy olyan egyetemet, amik az Egyesült Államokban is oktat. Tehát mind a két feladatnak eleget tettünk. Ennek ellenére az elmúlt hetekben azt az értesülést kaptuk az amerikai nagykövetségen keresztül, hogy a magyar kormány mégsem kívánja aláírni azt a bizonyos nemzetközi megállapodást, amelyet ők maguk készítettek elő. Ez azt jelenti, hogy 2019. szeptemberében nem fogadhatjuk itt Budapesten az amerikai programainkon résztvevő diákokat. Tehát jogi akadályokba ütközünk, egy ténybeli korlát nem engedi meg számunkra, hogy a régi módon tanítsunk itt Budapesten. Ezért aztán a kuratórium úgy döntött, hogy 2019. szeptemberében Bécsbe várja az új diákokat, és ez a döntés december 1-től kezdve lesz érvényes. A december 1-i határidő azért fontos, mert még ebben az utolsó pillanatban is szeretnénk esélyt adni a megállapodásnak a magyar kormánnyal. Abban reménykedünk, hogy a magyar kormánnyal sikerül akár közvetve, akár közvetlenül tárgyalásokba bonyolódni. Ezek a tárgyalások végül is oda vezetnek, hogy a CEU jogosan működhet továbbiakban is Magyarországon, és fogadhat diákokat. Úgy gondoljuk, hogy mi a magunk részéről mindent megtettünk. Azt is látjuk, hogy a magyar kormányzat jelentős része, az amerikai nagykövetség, a nemzetközi tudományos élet képviselői, de mindenekelőtt a magyar emberek is támogatják a tevékenységünket. Ezért továbbra is azt gondoljuk, hogy a magyar kormány és a CEU közti viszony rendezhető. Mi mindenképpen szeretnénk Magyarországon maradni, még abban az esetben is, hogyha el kell vinnünk innen az MA és PhD programjainkat Bécsbe, akkor is szeretnénk ezekben az épületekben tanítani és kulturális eseményeket rendezni. Továbbra is úgy gondoljuk, hogy Magyarország az otthonunk.
I wonder, Eva, whether you'd like to add anything, and then Liviu, and then we'll go to questions.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I just want to add one... bocsánat, magyarul fogok beszélni, elnézést. Üdvözlök én is mindenkit. Egyetlen egy dolgot szeretnék még egyszer hangsúlyozni, és ez pedig az, hogy nagyon elkötelezettek vagyunk az ügyben, hogy itt maradjunk, hogy itt tartsunk annyi oktatási és kulturális tevékenységet, amennyit csak lehetséges ezekben az épületekben. Számos ötletünk van már jelenleg is, de akkor is, hogyha el kell vinnünk ezeket a programokat, el kell vinnünk az amerikai programokat Bécsbe, akkor is azt gondoljuk, hogy egyrészt a már beiratkozott diákok még tanulhatnak itt 2022-ig, további oktatási programokat is indíthatunk, illetve általános oktatási tevékenységet, illetve kulturális eseményeket tudunk itt folytatni ezekben az épületekben, és ezt mindenképpen szándékozunk megtenni. Köszönöm.
Liviu?
Very briefly, two subjects. Good afternoon, everyone. One is to add some details about the fact that we do have educational activities in the United States, and therefore we comply with this requirement of Lex CEU. At present, as the rector and the Pro-Rector for Hungarian Affairs mentioned, we have degree programs and certificate programs in the United States which are accredited as programs offered there in New York State. So it is not that we moved some programs from Budapest and some students and some professors. We have programs on the American soil which are accredited as American programs, and we function as an American university in the United States. Moreover, when we were inspected by a Hungarian delegation in April, the rector mentioned about, I was there, I was present, together with members of the board and also with the representatives of the New York government, New York State government, of the educational authorities. And at that meeting, Minister Palkovich directly acknowledged in the presence of American government representatives that CEU does fulfill this requirement about educational activities in the United States. So he said it very directly, we acknowledge that you fulfill this condition. At the same meeting, there was also discussion about the agreement, the draft agreement that has been negotiated, and there was one change that was agreed upon about the date by which the Hungarian government would eventually ratify that text. So the text has been agreed upon in September last year, then again with a small modification in April and a few weeks after April this year. So that agreement exists. It is on the table. It sits on the table of the government for months, and it could be very easily signed if the government decides so. The second issue I would like to mention briefly, and it was already mentioned by the rector, we are not leaving because we want to leave. We are not moving part of our activities at least to another place because it happens to be just 2.5 hours up the river, you know, whether we go by boat or we go by train. We are forced to move. We don't have any other opportunity legally. And also I would like to say this comes at a huge cost. Our cost in Vienna will be much higher, so we will have to face the cost of living in Budapest and in Vienna. I'm sorry, the Board of Trustees has made a commitment to offer these additional resources, but there will be also very significant human cost. You know, if we count everybody at CEU, students, academic staff, administrative staff, and their families, we are talking about a few thousands of people who will have to be forced, who will have to move, who are forced to move out of Hungary. And I think I can say this is the largest targeted, obliged forced movement of population out of Hungary since '56. And you may ask ourselves, how is this called? You know, what attitude is a government showing that is pushing out its own citizen and its own people? And I think there's a very simple name for that. That is cynicism. And as the rector said and my colleague said, there is still time to correct this and to show that this government is not cynical and they don't want to force their own citizens out of the country.
Let me just one sentence. The Board of Trustees of this university are saying there's still time for a solution, but enough is enough. Okay? That's what this message is saying. I hope it's clear. Happy to take questions now in either language. I'm afraid if it comes in English, it comes to me, and if it comes in Hungarian, it will come to two superbly qualified people who are fully authorized to answer. Question here.
Nick Thorpe from the BBC. Professor Ignatieff, please could you specify exactly what the Hungarian government would have to do in the next 36 days to encourage you, to enable you to stay?
A document that our Board of Trustees that would accept that guarantees the academic freedom of an American institution in Hungary.
Sven Novak for the New York Times. A three-part question here. What role did Mr. Soros play in the decision to move the campus? Could you comment on the bomb that was found outside his home in New York? And finally, should CEU be forced to move, how will that decision apply to the archive and to the library?
George Soros is a member of the board, but it's a 21-person board. We had long, heated, and extended discussions that involved everybody. Nobody has a veto. It has to be and notice that this was it was a unanimous decision after much discussion. So yes, he was a participant, but he was not the determining factor. It's a board decision. That's an important point. This university respects George Soros, admires him, is grateful for his support, but we do not take orders from Mr. Soros because it would be incompatible with the academic freedom required by our charter in New York State. So this is a serious matter. Your second question was, remind me?
The bomb.
The bomb. I won't comment on it beyond reiterating what I think most people think. Whatever your political convictions, whatever your party, I'm sure this will command universal assent in Hungary. There is no place for violence or threats of violence in American life, in Hungarian life, in any democracy. And this was a clear attempt to intimidate a participant in public affairs. And we know that he wasn't the only one. It's a pattern, it's a trend, it's extremely disturbing. The third question was about, well, to repeat things that have been said, we very much want to stay in Budapest. Look around you. Look at this building. The library is just one floor up. The archive's just across the street. The archive, for those of you who don't know, is one of the most important historic archives on the history of the Cold War. It's a public facility open to all citizens of Budapest. We're going to keep it here. We want to keep as much of our library as we can while maintaining library facilities for our students in Vienna. We want to maintain as much teaching and research activity as we can, and we're seeking to determine what is legal. The government constantly says, makes accusations about us not being respectful of Hungarian law. Let me tell you, the decisions we're taking are all consistent with our best attempts to comply with Hungarian law. And we want to operate in Budapest consistent with Hungarian law at all times. Sir?
Thank you. I'm Balázs Bézi from RTL Hungary. My question is, are there scheduled meetings between the leadership of the university and the Hungarian government for the remaining 36 days, as far as I remember, or is it only up to the US ambassador to do the job?
There has been no bilateral negotiation between CEU leadership and the government of Hungary effectively since Lex CEU, very much to our regret. We would like to have discussions with them. I can confirm that last week there was one meeting between senior Hungarian officials and two members of our leadership team. The results were unsatisfactory. The government of Hungary has recently indicated to the ambassador that future meetings are possible, but all of this is being facilitated by the ambassador, and so I'm simply not at liberty to tell you whether there'll be more meetings in the future. I want to make it clearly understood that CEU would welcome further meetings, but the answer to an earlier question should make it clear what we're looking for here, which is written guarantees of our academic freedom as a U.S. institution in Hungary. And if we can get that, fine. If we can't, we have to operate those programs in Vienna, but we'll seek to maintain as much of a presence in Budapest as is consistent with Hungarian law. Right in the middle.
Liviu from Cap Radio. Will you seek the support or help of the Congress?
Of the Congress?
Congress?
Well, when, I think Ambassador Kornstein has shared this with you, when Ambassador Kornstein was confirmed as ambassador to Hungary, pretty well every third question he got was about CEU. So there is support in Congress, bipartisan support, Republicans and Democrats, for us remaining in Budapest. And I would observe that Mr. Kornstein serves the Trump administration, Republican administration. We're extremely grateful for his support, and we hope that and believe that congressional support will continue and be forthcoming. And I hope that the Hungarian government is aware that this university has support from the United States Congress. Sir?
Thanks. András Kósa from Népszava. You have mentioned that this negative statement has been made 3 weeks ago by the Hungarian government to Mr. Kornstein. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Kornstein said that if there won't be any positive outcome of this CEU issue, it could have serious consequences regarding the US-Hungarian bilateral relations. What do you think? What kind of consequences will the Hungarian government face?
That's entirely for the United States government. We have not been seeking consequences. Absolutely. We're a university, for heaven's sake. I know that the United States government has many issues that it wants to discuss with the Hungarian government. I think it is fair comment to say that acting negatively towards an American accredited institution doesn't help with all the other things you want to talk about. But it's not for me, and I want to make that clear, to suggest any action. It's entirely up to the United States government. And they have not discussed with me, and it would not be appropriate for them to discuss with me any consequences that might follow. I frankly hope that there are none. I frankly hope we can solve this problem. It seems unnecessary and ridiculous. If I can just add one thing, when I say ridiculous, I say it with feeling. Just this week, this university won, along with the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, a 10 million euro research grant in network science. This is an active symbol of the kind of cooperation between CEU and Hungarian academic life that we want to foster and maintain. Sir.
Zsolt Enyedi from Bloomberg. 2 questions, but really one question with 2 sides of the same coin. If there is no deal by December 1, the CEU move effectively its headquarters to Vienna, and CEU will be a Vienna-based university with a campus also in Budapest as well as in New York. And the second question, if there is a deal, unexpectedly, by this December 1, how does that impact the move to Vienna? What then stays? What doesn't?
We have said months ago that we were creating a campus in Vienna in any circumstances. So I'm asking the second part of your question first. In the event of an agreement that allows us to stay as a free institution in Hungary, we will continue to operate a campus in Vienna next year because we think it gives expanded opportunities for our students. So that's part 2. Part 1, you used the word headquarters. Where would the headquarters be related? My sense of the future is that we would become a bi-campus university. We would have a seat in Budapest and a seat in Hungary. And then the question of what we can accomplish, a seat in Budapest and a seat in Vienna. I don't like to say the headquarters suddenly shifts to Vienna. I'm saying as actively as I can, we want to stay. Don't force us to make that choice. We can operate as a bi-campus university provided we have guarantees of our academic freedom. That's been the issue from the beginning. It remains the issue. If we get guarantees that allow us to stay, we'll stay. But if we don't get those guarantees, then we have to move to Vienna. But I don't want to say, oh, everything will go to Vienna. I want to keep as much here as I possibly can in all circumstances. We love the city. We're dug in here. Many of our faculty, many of our staff are Hungarian nationals. This is an emotional, visceral issue for everybody. They want to stay. This is their home. and I want to support them doing that.
Can I just press you on the first part of the question? I mean, the statement says, and you've said that all U.S. accredited programs, degree programs, will move to Vienna. If there's a deal by December 1, does that mean you keep the U.S. degree programs in Budapest, or does that still move and effectively then, you know, things have been decided?
If we can get a deal that guarantees our institutional integrity and academic freedom as a U.S. institution offering U.S. accredited degrees, we will maintain those degrees in Budapest. And then on top of that, we'll establish additional programs in Vienna. For example, 2 undergraduate programs, a master's in international public affairs, and other programs, some executive education. Sir?
Why not wait with the decision to relocate until the Court of the European Commission brings its resolution in 2 weeks?
We are aware that there, and you're pointing this out, we are aware that there is a legal challenge to the constitutionality under EU law of Lex CEU. And we have urged the Commission and the Court to act expeditiously on that challenge. But no action has been taken, and we can't. I've got a university to run, and we respect the law, and we would expect that if a judgment came down defending our side of the argument, we hope the Hungarian government would respect it. But what I'm saying is we can't wait for the judgment. We have to proceed, because we got to get a class recruited for September 2019.
Michael, perhaps it is worth reminding that we are not allowed to enroll new students after 1st of January. So if the decision doesn't come before, there's nothing we can do.
Sir?
Jens Felix over at Austrian Television, just for clarification. So if you are forced to move to Vienna, just practical, how many classes or courses or teaching will stay here, or will you move everything to Vienna?
We will have to move all U.S. accredited master's and doctoral programs, all of them.
First cohort.
Of the first cohort. That is, the entire incoming class to CEU will take instruction in Vienna. We hope that we can use some of our instructional facilities in Budapest, but their instruction will occur primarily in Vienna, and those already enrolled in CEU this year under the Lex CEU, if Lex CEU stays valid, can continue to study here. So the people already here continue to study here and graduate. It's the incoming class for next September that will study in Vienna and receive their degrees in Vienna. But we'll continue all the other things we do. We also have a number of programs that are accredited and receive European funding because they're European accredited, and they will continue in Budapest. It's a complicated picture, but what you need to remember is simply the entire incoming class that receives U.S. accredited master's and doctoral degrees will study in Vienna effective September 1, 2019 if we can't get a deal with the Hungarian government between now and the 1st of December.
And how far is the Hungarian branch, KEE, touched by this decision?
Well, we need clarification from the Hungarian government about that issue, because that affects whether we can teach and perform any instructional activity in Hungary. Again, the government occasionally says, oh, you guys don't care about the law. We care scrupulously about the law. Our problem is we don't know what it is. You know, we've tried to comply with it, and the government is now saying, well, it doesn't matter whether you complied. We're not going to sign it, right? So we have a problem, and we need to clarify that in the weeks ahead. I think we're... Oh, a question here. Sorry, I think this may have to be the last one.
Okay, I'm Mariana Hutter from Azonnali, and my question is how big percentage of the CEU's staff will move to Vienna? So if you could tell me a number.
I can't tell you a number. It's a good question. It's of great concern to our staff. We had a community meeting in which I committed to make sure that everybody gets taken care of and treated with respect. To be absolutely candid with you, we don't know. What I said in answer to the previous question is we're offering all our degree programs for incoming students next September. That means we have to have the staff complement to deliver the kind of quality of education that we do in Vienna, and we also have to serve here in Budapest the students who are returning. So we're going to have to work out exactly who goes, who stays, and we are actively working on that right now.
Do you know the cost of moving?
The costs are high, and I think Provost Matei made the point. It's very costly. We think it's unnecessary. We wish we didn't have to do it. But the Board of Trustees have committed, because this is such an important matter of principle, to meet the cost whatever. And we've supplied them with budgets, and there'll be further announcements later about the kind of commitments that have been made to make sure we can make this transition successfully.
Michael, perhaps I can add a detail here. Although, as you know, we are a private university, all our students receive some form of financial aid from the university, which is unheard of for other universities. So when we talk about cost, higher cost in Vienna, this will include higher cost with financial aid. So we will adjust the financial aid we provide to our students to meet the higher cost in Vienna.
I've got time for quickly two more, and then we really will have to wrap. Right up there, yep.
Arról lehetne tudni, hogy Korsztin nagykövetet mikor tájékoztatta erről a magyar kormány, és hogy pontosan kicsoda, ugye kb. 2 hetet tartott itt egy előadást itt nagykövet úr, akkor erről nem lehetett tudni. Ez lenne az első kérdésem. A másik pedig az, hogy körülbelül, ha jól emlékszem, hogy tavaly azt mondta a rektor helyettes úr, hogy 20% vesz részt magyar nyelvű képzésen is. Ez ugye egy nem túl magas szám. Arra esetleg vannak a tervek, hogy más egyetemekkel, más magyar egyetemekkel valamiféle együttműködést kötnek, hogy ki lehessen használni az épületeket. Ugye volt erre precedens, amikor az egyetemen is.
Köszönöm a kérdéseket. Az első kérdésre nem igazán tudok válaszolni, tehát nem tudom, hogy a nagykövet úr kivel, milyen körülmények között, mikor, mit beszélt. Hozzánk ez a hír jutott el, hogy a jelenlegi helyzetben a magyar kormány nem kívánja aláírni a nemzetközi megállapodást. A magyar egyetemekkel való együttműködés egy nagyon vonzó gondolat. Mi sokféleképpen már most együttműködünk nagyon intenzíven magyar egyetemekkel. Valóban úgy néz ki, hogy a közép-európai egyetem által akkreditált MA és PhD programok, körülbelül 10 van belőlük, sokkal kevesebben vannak, mint a CEU által akkreditált PhD és MA programok, abból van körülbelül 50. Emiatt is az a megoldás, amit a kormány említett, nem működik. Vagyis, hogy közös képzések keretében folytassuk a programjainkat tovább. Hogyha majd oda kerül a sor, hogy valóban át kell gondolnunk, hogy mire használjuk ezeket az épületeket, akkor szinte biztos, hogy akadémiai célokra fogjuk elsősorban használni őket, és akkor valószínűleg a magyar egyetemekkel, illetve az akadémiával együtt fogjuk ezt tenni.
Egy nagyon fontos kérdés még, ami a bukszot is érintheti, a gender szak ezek között, a szakok között van-e?
Milyen szakok között?
Igen. A 10 szakban benne van-e, ami...
Igen, tehát én még oda számolom, bár ugye a legutóbbi döntések miatt már sajnos nem számolhatom hozzá. Ez egy olyan szak, amit a magyar kormány most megszüntetett. Az amerikai rendszerben továbbra is benne van a portfóliónkban, tehát ott továbbra is kínáljuk, és Bécsben tovább fogunk tudni MA-ket adni Gender Studies-ban.
One more question here. That'll be it.
Okay, just the last question. Do you know any information about the investigation launched by the Hungarian government in the US actually, so to investigate the qualification of the US education level and so on actually. So do you know anything about the outcome of this investigation?
I'm not sure quite what you mean by investigation, but the Hungarian government has been informed that our accreditors, our accreditation department, New York State Department of Education, thinks we have fully complied with the requirements to establish educational activity. That's all we know. So the investigation that's appropriate for the Hungarian government is to know whether, A, we're doing what we said we're doing, and secondly, whether the accreditors think we're doing what we said we're doing. They've been to see us, as Professor Matei said, and they said, looks okay to me. The accreditors said, we've looked at it, it's a professional program. So there's really nothing more to investigate. And what is frustrating to us is that we have tried to comply with Hungarian law since the beginning. And we've now reached the end of the road. There is a short window now, which I hope the Hungarian government will take, using the facilities of Ambassador Kornstein, who's been terrific. And if not, we're going to have to move our programs to Vienna. Thank you very much for coming here. Thank you for coming in such large numbers. We welcome your attention and the importance you're attaching to this issue.